Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're doing something I haven't done in a long time for YouTube, and that is a draft analysis. We're going to be doing a draft analysis between Tundra Esports and Team Spirit. In particular, I'm going to be going over why I really love the opener of Tundra. This ended up being a really back and forth game, 51-35, an hour and 5 minutes for this match. But without further ado, let's talk about why Tundra picks the heroes that they do and why I absolutely love their drafts. And of course, I'm going to give Team Spirit as much credit as humanly possible, as this was a very close game. Also, I just want to let you guys know quickly, I'm going to be making a game analysis of this draft analysis. So if you want to see the full game, it's going to be over on the gameleap website. We're also running a discount right now, which you can use by clicking on the link down below. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Alright, so starting off with bans, I actually do want to cover bans because I think it's a good way to talk about the meta, and these are some of the most meta heroes, and first phase is just kind of a meta fest. I also really like that Team Spirit bans Enigma. I actually think Enigma is maybe one of the most underrated heroes in Dota, and I think Enigma, if it gets buffed next patch, which it might, could end up becoming one of the best heroes in Dota. I really believe Enigma's shard is insanely broken. It makes his stun a 4-second stun. Enigma's Malefice is a 4-second total stun. It's crazy. And it spawns Eidolons. And then you buy an Octarine, and you just stun them on like a 10-second cooldown for 4 seconds. Either way, we see the Nature's Prophet ban, very, very common pickup for a lot of pro teams right now. They love flexing it. It's also a very common 8 pick, because Nature's Prophet is a hero that makes drafting very hard. Not a lot of heroes like laning against it, so you have to pick very specific heroes, and if you don't on 6-7, which I'll explain to you guys in a second, then you get countered very hard. So Team Spirit with the first pick of the game has to go something that isn't completely counterable, or is just something they think is very broken. Could even be a flex hero. One of the most common picks right here would be Treant Protector, which actually gets completely ignored, interestingly enough, in the first phase of this game. And Tundra, on the response to Tusk, goes for Riki Undying. Definitely weird, because this is going to be your support duo unless you play offlane Undying, which I have watched most of 33's pubs, and he doesn't play offlane Undying as far as I'm concerned. And so you're kind of locking in your support duo 6-7. Kind of crazy. Like, definitely a little bit crazy. But I will say Undying is one of the hardest 5s to counter in the game. There's nothing that truly beats it in the lane from my experience. And another thing is Riki is, in my opinion, one of the most broken heroes in Dota right now. It's not terrible in lane. It's actually better than what I used to think it was. It's really not bad in lane. And then in the mid game, at 15 minutes, you just get caught. Like, it's impossible to avoid this damn guy. He's everywhere. It's just so damn obnoxious. And so Tundra understands that. It's very hard to play into Riki Undying because the lanes are going to be difficult. It's hard to fight into the vision game. You have to draft to not get stomped by the Undying in the laning stage. It's a weird thing to draft around. Because in my opinion, one of the better responses to Riki is trying to pick Deathball, a team comp that groups up and doesn't split up very much. Because the more you split up against Riki, things kind of get weird, right? Not that he's horrible in teamfights. Smokescreen is quite good. Then we see a Snapfire come out. I don't mind it. I don't think this is much of a crazy pick. I think it's decent. It has Cookie to get people out of Smokescreen, very nice, and then has a little Shredder to kill Tombstone. So honestly, I love the pick from Team Spirit. It's like actually so genius. You know what I mean? It's just like a built-in Force Staff, which is the Riki counter, and then high attack speed to kill the Undying and Little Shredder. So it's really awesome, really, really cool. I love this pick. It's also a great synergy with Tusk, because Tusk tends to not one-shot people until he has Deso, if he goes that route. And so Snapfire in the early game is the perfect follow-up damage to Tusk, right? These heroes love playing together. So really, I love the Snapfire pick. I think it's extremely intelligent. And here's where things get a little bit weird. Tundra bans out Naga Siren, Treant, and Quap. Quap, I guess, is them saying we're gonna pick Batrider. Like, they're just like, yeah, we're picking Batrider. Because Quap apparently is the worst Batrider matchup in the game mid. Yeah, you just dagger him and you can blink away from the napalm, right? If you get too many stacks, you can just chill. Then they also ban out Treant Protector, which is kind of weird because I thought they would pick it first phase, whatever. And then Naga Siren, which I think Naga Siren is kind of just hard for Undying and Riki to deal with. In terms of the map pressure, neither Undying nor Riki clears waves well at all. In fact, they're horrible at it. Like, really, really bad. I will say I think Riki in teamfights, like Smokescreen, because Naga can't buy BKB, is really great. That's my only thing. However, Naga does counter Undying really hard. It's one of his worst matchups in the game. It's bad in lane. It's just always bad, actually. It's bad in lane. She can song and kill the tombstone. It's targetable when you song. So it's just a horrible matchup. But yeah, we see the Quap to enable the Batrider ban. Kind of a cool concept here. Definitely a cool concept. On the side of Team Spirit, we see Drow, Slark, and Odie. Kind of, I'm not even going to really speculate too much. I guess the Drow lanes well with the Undying. Slark is a very heavy Skeeter hero. Like, I guess they just know they like picking these heroes. They play well with the vision, I will admit. Slark Riki is like really annoying. It's really good follow-up for the dart, the pounce. It's just good setup. We see Leshrac come out from Team Spirit. Not a hero that I thought lanes well against Batrider. Definitely a hero I thought actually really struggles against a Batrider. And then we see a Tidehunter, a hero that can, depending on what the enemy safe lane is, do really poorly against Undying. It's something you have to be careful about, right? Decay against strength heroes is just simply good. Now, Tidehunter's Anchor Smash is solid against Undying, right? When he's trying to hit you, you reduce his high damage. Good, right? It's just solid. But at the end of the day, you're a melee hero fighting against Undying. So it's not easy, right? This is definitely not a lane that's going to be easy. But the Tidehunter kind of makes sense against Batrider. You can purge a sticky napalm and just not die. However, Smokescreen from Riki is a problem. Until you get Force Staff, which they do have Snapfire Cookie, until you have Force Staff, you cannot crack and shell off Smokescreen. So Smokescreen is one of the hardest counters in the game for Tidehunter. It's something he will have to be wary about this game. He might even have to consider picking up a Force Staff if his game isn't going too well. Now, in terms of the Lesh, I don't mind it. I think these three heroes do a pretty set amount of damage until late game. Then Batrider is like... Batrider late game is so weird when he hits level 25. Then he can burst anybody, but until then, it's pretty hard for Batrider to like catch Leshrac off guard. He doesn't rush Blink, he rushes BKB. It's hard for him to catch Lesh off guard, and so they need burst on Tundra. They need burst. They need follow-up to the Riki dart, and they need follow-up to the lasso. Undying and Riki are not going to cut it. They're not damage heroes. They need damage. There you go. It's a great Ursa pick. It makes a lot of sense. It's going to lane well with the Undying. It's going to do fine. It's lanes okay against Tide. It's not that hard of a stomp, but with Undying, he might stomp the lane if he gets off to a good start, and then it's exactly what you need against the Lesh. It's a hero that ignores Bloodstone. It's actually a counter to Bloodstone when you enrage because you do not take a lot of damage. The Leshrac does not heal a lot, and you can burst him. Right, so it's definitely a hero that Ursa is pretty good against just in general. I think this matchup's overall solid, and of course, as I said, it's good against the Tidehunter. Also, there's no instant disable on the side of Team Spirit until Tusk has a Blink Dagger, so it's pretty hard for them to chain stun the Ursa and catch him off guard. Even if Tusk does punch the Ursa, the follow-up might not be there in time, like Lesh stun is kind of slow, and Tidehunters nowadays, sometimes they don't buy Blink at all, or they buy it after like Guardian Greaves, so early game, Ursa should be pretty safe. In terms of the final bans coming out here, from Tundra, we are going to see a Sniper and a Morphling. I think this is mostly protecting the Ursa, right? These are two matchups that Ursa doesn't like very much. Sniper seems like a matchup that Ursa could do well against, but I think nowadays I actually really like the ban. One more thing to note as well is the Leshrac and the Tidehunter basically means Tusk is position 5. Of course, Snapfire could be position 5, but realistically, you want to lane the Snapfire with the Tidehunter. It's a way better combo. Tusk Tide, it's actually something they could do, and the only reason you would run Tusk Tide is because you are going to put a melee hero to drag the creep wave, because melee heroes are tankier, so they're better at dragging the creep wave against Undying. So that is the only reason you would lane Tusk with Tide. However, I think Snap is pretty good against Undying in lane. It's at least okay, and so they'll probably do that, meaning they most likely want a hero that pairs well with a melee tag team Tusk in the early game. Sniper is great, Drow is banned out, Lena's banned out, Morphling's banned out. The only other option maybe is something like a Shadow Fiend, which I could see Team Spirit picking that up. I actually don't remember what they pick final, but I could totally see something like a Shadow Fiend, even though it doesn't theoretically man up well to Ursa, kind of like the Sniper. Nowadays, you get really tanky, and you have Snowball, and you buy Hurricane Pike, and then it's pretty hard, and Sniper in particular buys Shard and Hurricane Pike, and then he's got very high HP after he has BKB as well. It's like 2.2k HP, and then Wraith Bands, if he has them, give you a ton of armor. Ursa ends up not being able to burst him, so I really like the Sniper ban. And then we see that they think they need an offlaner. They think it's mid-bat. They think it's Ursa, and they say, okay, we think you need an offlaner. Let's ban out the heroes that lane well with Riki. right, which are typically going to be the 33 tower damage heroes as well, which makes a lot of sense to me. One thing Tundra truly lacks this game is tower damage. They can't kill towers at all. What heroes do that lane well with Riki? You have Death Prophet and you have Visage, right? Two ranged heroes that are pretty strong in the early levels, and neither of these supports are hard lane dominators, so both of these heroes will do extremely well against the Tusk, assuming it's position 5. So from the side of Tundra, they pick first, they go for the Terrorblade. I don't mind it, it's sort of a ranged hero to lane with the Tusk. I will admit, I actually don't like Terrorblade a lot against Riki, because Terrorblade tends to not buy BKB early, and so he really struggles against the smokescreen. He also can't click Manta and then get off Sunder, he's still going to be in the smokescreen. It's also a hero that gets chain ganked by Batrider early game if you're not careful. It easily solo kills Terrorblade, so you definitely have to be a bit worried. But I can understand the pick. Undying lacks damage, Riki lacks damage, eventually Batrider doesn't really kill Terrorblade. Like at some point in the game, it definitely doesn't. You're going to also have a Greaves and a Pipe from your Tide probably. Maybe not a Pipe this game, probably just a Greaves. You know, you have a good team come to back you up and you have a lot of stuns, and they needed a ranged hero to outcarry the Ursa. Also, I will say Team Spirit has a hard time dealing with illusions in the side lanes. They don't have heroes that are very good at killing the Terrorblade illusions, so he can farm very well and put a lot of map pressure that way. And finally, the last pick of the game from Tundra ends up being a Dark Seer, which is kind of crazy. The reason why it's a little bit crazy and it's unorthodox for Tundra to pick Dark Seer here, at least from my experience, is Dark Seer is not a hero that takes buildings, right? It just doesn't. It doesn't kill buildings at all, and neither does Ursa or Batrider or Undying or Riki. They have almost no map pressure, and it's very hard for them to end the game. And that's probably why this match goes an hour. So they're going to have to play very high tempo, which to be fair is very good with Riki. Where on the other side, Team Spirit has way better team fight overall. I say that, but they do have Vacuum. Like, Vacuum Smokescreen's not bad. There's not that much Vacuum synergy. It's more of just a game of picking Darkseer to play high tempo. Like, honestly, Surge is good with Batrider, Surge is good with Ursa. The Ion Shell is extremely good against Terrorblade. You make a copy of Meta TB, it can nearly solo kill the Lesh. You also can copy the Scotty and then put it on the Lesh. That's really cool as well. It's a good damage hero to kill off the Tidehunter. I definitely can see the line with the Darkseer. It tends to do okay against Terrorblade in lane. If the Tusk was like an Undying, you'd have to be careful about picking Darkseer. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this draft analysis. Hope you learned a ton. This is personally my favorite video to make, probably almost out of any video. I just love drafting. Like, drafting invigorates me. It just stirs something up inside of me. But all right, if you want to watch the full game analysis, go sign up to gameleap.com. I'll be making it over there, and I'm going to actually record that video right now. So yeah, hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you like these, because I know a lot of people, they're not going to like the video. A lot of people are not fans of the draft analysis. So if you are a fan, please smash the like button so I know you enjoy the content. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.